If you were to make a hard mode in Hollow Knight Silksong, what kinds of things would you include? No heals is a no-brainer, but what if we take it a few steps further? How about no silk skills, or even no tools? Well, what if I told you that Silksong already has this hard mode? That's right, I'm talking about the cursed version of the Witch's Crest that Hornet has to use during the questline to unlock that crest. So what would happen if I played the whole game, all 3 acts, all while cursed? Well, that's basically hard mode in Silksong. Let's get started. The very beginning of the game is basically normal, even while cursed. At this point, I'm sure even most of everyone watching this video wouldn't have much of a problem walking through Moss Grotto and even beating Moss Mother without needing to heal. And at this point, with no tools or silk skills anyway, being able to heal is the only thing I'm missing out on right now. Unfortunately, things don't stay simple for long. The beginning of my journey through the Marrow follows the intended path, but an issue comes up very quickly. The game expects you to pick up the Silk Spear ability and immediately use it to free the Bell Beast. This opens up not only fast travel, but the rest of the area. Then, you can just play the game normally, get the dash from the Deep Docks, the Drifter's Cloak from Farfields, and then make your way through Greymoor and get the wall climb from Shellwood. And I can pick up the Silk Spear from the Marrow, but I have no way of equipping it, which is a much bigger problem than you might think. See, the start of this challenge isn't hard because I can't use tools and spells. It isn't even hard because I can't heal. It's hard because you need the Silk Spear to free the Bell Beast and progress through the game normally. Since the normal route is impossible, we only have one remaining option. Enter Shellwood from the wormways and get the wall jump as our first usable upgrade. The only issue with that is, the game really expects you to already have movement upgrades like the dash or the wall jump when going through the wormways. Without those upgrades, following this alternate path is going to be tough. The first jump here is pretty much the same as normal. Without dash, the best way forward is to pogo off this fly to reach this platform. This single jump took me over 5 minutes of attempts, and it's by far one of the easiest ones. So, things are not looking too good. The next obstacle is this long room with the Craggler, and I'm sure I could take the time to kill it and just not worry about it at all, but surely I can just use the platforms for cover and run by him. I probably won't have to go through this room that many times, right? In the wormways proper, this is the first somewhat difficult jump. Without dash, you normally have to pogo along the spikes just to get to this platform. The jump itself isn't too difficult, but remember, dying at any point means I have to start the entire sequence again from Bone Bottom. Normally, the only way to make this jump is by first dying on purpose, and then using the Death Cocoon to get the height necessary by pogoing it. Being cursed offers a different option though. Since you can't build up enough silk to heal while cursed, that's what happens instead when Hornet uses her bind. As you just saw, it provides a pretty meaningful amount of horizontal and vertical distance. Using this as a kind of pseudo air dash is going to be vital for making it across this area, but it isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Remember, this bind replaces Hornet's heal, it's not an addition to it. This means I will never be able to heal while exploring an area, and for now it means I'll have to make it all the way from Bone Bottom to Shellwood on the starting 5 HP. The next room is very dangerous with many places to get hit, but there isn't any crazy skips necessary to make it to the end of the room. Normally, the skip in this room here is the toughest one, but the cursed air dash makes it surprisingly easy. My heart's racing as if I'm like doing an attempt against the fight. Like literally my heart's beating like it was when I was fighting Lost Lace. I'm so close. Oh my god. I don't think I'm out of the woods yet. I'm so scared right now. I'm so close. I just need a bench. I just need a bench. What? How am I gonna get over there? I need to lure you for a pogo? Is that what I need to do? No. Yes. Yes! I'm fucking gaming, boys! Yes, there's the bench! Oh my god. 1 HP and a dream for real, bro. I am by no means done with the platforming yet, but having a bench in Shellwood and being officially done with the wormways was such a damn relief. It's easy enough to get into Bellheart, but we don't really need to be here right now as our next objective is within Shellwood. Now, I don't even think doing this room was necessary, but with a few well-timed cursed air dashes, I make it to this gauntlet. Yeah. All right. Need to lock in super hard here. Okay, let's try that again. Cool. I have this bench now, and I can take this elevator to get back to this room. I'm stupid. I just don't need to do this room. I need to go up from here. Oh. That's nice. So it turns out I could have just gone straight to the room I actually needed to be at from the beginning, which is this room, the good old Sister Splinter skip room. This is the room that actually contains the wall jump, but it's way up here and there's a whole host of skips I'll need to pull off to reach it. This sequence was easily the hardest part of the entirety of Act 1 for this challenge. Much more difficult than any boss, taking me just under 2 hours to finally do. Here goes. Step 1 is the classic taunt this guy over to position and then pogo off of him to reach this ledge combo. Normally you'd want to drop down here and either pogo or damage boost to get to this ledge, but eventually I find a better way to do it. Cursed air dashing up to this ledge doesn't really save much time, but it is a much safer way to get to the next room. And here, the single room that I spent the most amount of time in. There are multiple approaches to how I can do this room. Most simply, I can just tank damage from this guy and pogo past him, use my cursed air dash to reach this platform, and then jump to the ledge. Eventually, I find a method to pogo through and not even take any damage from this dude, making it a more reliable method. You can even skip this part of the room with a well-timed pogo air dash combo, but I was never able to pull this off reliably. The final jump of this room isn't even that hard mechanically to pull off, but there is an issue with it. I didn't just do that. I didn't just do that. I didn't just do that. The cursed air dash technique is a little tricky to do. The direction it pushes you in is the opposite of whatever direction you're facing. So just turn around at the last second and immediately bind, right? Well, maybe about half the time. So what is going on here? I've been playing video games long enough to not mess up an input as simple as turn around first, then dash quickly. So there must be something else happening. Here's what I was able to figure out. Normally, Hornet will instantly change direction when you input in that direction. This makes the cursed air dash pretty reliable to use. Things change when you're pogoing off something. Sometimes Hornet will do this kind of twirl or flip or some kind of air trick after pogoing. She's really farming those extra points, huh? There's a delay that during these animations, Hornet won't actually change the direction she's facing when inputting a different direction, which will make the cursed air dash backfire and send me in the wrong direction. I spent a while trying to control this happening, like maybe if I change direction before doing the pogo, then I won't have to change direction for the air dash, but I didn't find this to be reliable either. Which ultimately is what's really frustrating about all this. If it behaved the same way every time, that would be one thing. I could just adapt and do the input based off what I need to. But no, it's not reliable at all. And sometimes the same input will produce two different results, all because Hornet just wants to show off how fancy she is. Oh, so I could have just done that the whole time? Cool. After enough attempts, I am able to get the right combo of RNG to make all the jumps throughout the entire sequence. And I'm finally here. Wait. What is that? Oh god, no! Just kidding. You thought I would actually fall there? Nah, I'm him. It's at this point that my girlfriend walks in and validly begins to question my sanity. But holy shit, after spending like 2 hours just attempting that one room over and over and over again, I was on cloud 9 after finally getting the cling grip. From here, the rest is basically just speedrunning Act 1 and catching up on everything. From under Bellheart, I can re-enter the Marrow on the other side of the Bell Beast Arena and access the further areas. 4.5 hours in, I finally grab what usually takes me like 20 minutes to reach, the dash. Just walking all over the wormways and Shellwood really made me miss this upgrade, and man, I'm just so happy to finally have it. Up next is Lace, who blocks the way to the far fields. Being cursed here really doesn't change anything. At this point, I really don't need a heal to beat Lace. A little bit of good old Hoker farming and a quick visit to the Seamstress, and the Drifter's Cloak is acquired. At this point, I'm basically fully kitted out with all of the Act 1 movement upgrades, and I can really start playing the game normally from here. We do say hi to the 4th chorus on the way out of the far fields. Yeah, no problem with taking down the 4th chorus either. In my return visit to Shellwood, I even take down Sister Splinter, just for funsies. Finally, the last boss in this little boss rush, Widow. So far, the bosses have been the easiest aspect of this challenge, if anything. Sure, this is Silksong hard mode, and I can't heal or use any tools or anything, but let's be real, we're talking about Act 1 here. Okay, I might have died, but still, I stand by what I said. Nice! While Widow did give me some trouble, the bosses in Act 1 aren't what makes this run challenging. The unforgiving platforming of the alternate route was by far harder for me than any boss fight, even without heals, skills, or tools. Don't get me wrong, I do expect this to change in Acts 2 and 3. Imagine Carmelita, or Lost Lace without being able to heal. Don't even get me started on Grohl the Great. But for now, I'll enjoy these Act 1 bosses that I can beat on my first couple of tries. With the Needle-In acquired, I have everything I need to start heading into Act 2, but I have a lot to do before then. There are a lot of collectibles in Act 1 that I've skipped over, and even though most of them aren't relevant in this challenge, I still need some of them. Tools and silk upgrades won't do anything for me, as I can't use either while cursed, but health upgrades and fleas are still useful to grab for obvious reasons. Plus, there are a few areas that I haven't even been to yet, so we still got some time before Act 2. Most of the stuff is very grindy, so I probably won't show most of it on screen. What the fuck? Is that the Bell Beast? So what happened here? I'm genuinely not sure, but I do have a guess I'm somewhat confident in. The Bell Beast is trapped in a web of silk, and you normally free her with the Silk Spear. The town of Bellheart and its residents are also trapped in these threads, and you free them by defeating Widow. So my guess? Defeating Widow also frees the Bell Beast. This is actually a huge relief, as I was not trying to beat all of Silksong without having fast travel. But yeah, if you've ever heard of this, leave me a comment as to why it happens, or what your guess is as to why it happens. And hey, if you've never seen this before and I showed you something new, you should leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Honestly, even if you didn't learn anything new, you should still do both of those things. Challenge, restart the challenge, I took a hit. Another benefit for killing the Bell Beast is getting the first Silk Heart. There's nothing I can do with it for now, but when I do eventually get the claw line, it will make it a good bit easier to use, so that's nice. Anyway, what was I saying before I was so rudely interrupted? Oh yeah, from here, a lot of the next couple hours of gameplay is just pretty grindy, so let's do a highlight reel. Hornet gets totally rejected by Eva. She doesn't like pregnant people. I waste my time accepting a quest I can't even do since I can't equip tools. Hornet thoroughly explores Greymore and blasts through Farloom's sandiest steps, and let me tell ya, there's lots to do here. I can gamble my life savings away, or decimate a pair of some of the least great conch flies anyone's ever seen, and even finally learn a dance of death from an endangered species in her tent. Next, I watch a comrade in arms die valiantly for his cause right before my very eyes, and then take vengeance on the tyrant that did the killing. Then, mourn the loss of the fallen comrade. And finally, grieve the loss by taking out my rage against the savage beastfly. Along the way, making sure to save every flea and do every quest I can find. With all of that said and done, it is now time to actually enter Act 2. The question is, which entrance should I take? Now, you might be saying, Mr. Daniel YouTube, why would you ask that when the footage on your screen clearly shows that you'll enter Act 2 through the Grand Gate? And Mr. and Mrs. Viewer, that is a very excellent question. I am indeed fighting the last judge right now, and of course, winning easily. And yes, defeating the last judge does enter you into Act 2. And I could even make progress into the act right now if I wanted to, but that would be lame. That's right, we're also gonna beat Phantom. which means Hornet will have the pleasure of exploring Sinner's Road and Bilewater on the way. Again, most of it is standard playthrough exploration, and I make sure to do any wishes and grab any fleas that might be nearby. I also free the Green Prince while I'm here, which is pretty much the last objective in this area for now. So, next, the Bilewater Bellbeast Station. The very last obstacle in the way before Phantom is the Mist, which is always just such a pleasure to do. In all seriousness, it actually does go quite smoothly, and I make it out of the mist on my first try. And finally, it's Phantom time. Like Widow, Phantom does take me a couple attempts. She's a boss that can be deceptively challenging if you aren't focused on the fight, but again, we're talking about an Act 1 boss here, so it's not too long before Phantom goes down. And I get yet another ability I literally can't use. And here we are, Act 2, achieved from both the Last Judge and Phantom sides. Provided there's not some other restriction that bans it, this is probably what I'll do in all future challenge runs as well. I like to be thorough, so having to beat both of Act 1's final bosses seems fitting. And that was the video. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Finally playing without the pogo only restriction has made for some of the most refreshing Silksong gameplay I've had with the game yet, which is just hilarious to me. If you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, it would mean the world if you could leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. My crazy goal of somehow hitting 10,000 subs before the end of the year seems crazier every day, but maybe we can make it happen. I live stream this and all other challenge runs, so if you want to check those out, make sure to hit the bell to get notifications when I go live and follow my other social medias. Lastly, if you want to go the extra mile to support the channel, you can become a member for as little as $1 a month to gain access to exclusive emotes, end of video shoutouts, and more in the future. And of course, one last thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.